Chloe Demrovsky is Executive Director for Disaster Recovery Institute International. She joins us now from New York. How could this situation have been prevented, do you think?
This is clearly a man-made incident. Right now, the investigation is looking into whether it was a technical problem or a human error, but in either case, it's still a man-made accident that is caused by people. It's using man-made creations, trains, and so forth. So this sort of incident can be prevented by having adequate safety controls in place, making sure that a risk assessment has been done, that there are plans, and that they are tested and exercised.
What would you advise the government there to do? What steps do they need to take to mitigate the risks of this ever happening again?
They need to have a thorough investigation in which they figure out exactly what went wrong. Then they need to analyze it again and again, isolate the lessons learned so that the experts can go through and then take action to make sure that there are new plans in place to prevent something like this from happening again.
Given your experience, what do you think the lessons learned will be?
It will likely be some combination, although the investigation that is still ongoing will give us further answers. It does seem in general that automated braking systems were in place. 96% of Germany's train system has this automated braking system in place, and obviously Germany's train system and Europe's in general is world class. So what we're going to see here is something that we will learn that will move the bar forward in terms of what we are doing to prevent things like this from happening from a technological standpoint.
This is a tragic train accident. The story we had before it, of course, the earthquake in Taiwan, both disasters. This is an area that you're familiar with. Can you talk to us about the healing process for people in the communities, both in Taiwan and there in Germany? What needs to happen to help move to the next stage, so to speak?
Right. Well, the first phase, of course, is the emergency response phase and safeguarding human life, making sure that those who can be saved are saved, making sure that those who are injured have the necessary medical care that they need. From that point, you have to get to the recovery phase, and that's where you start to rebuild, to remove the wreckage, to start to rebuild systems. And then there's a new discipline forming called resilience, and a movement to, rather than just rebuilding things how they were before, to actually think about it and use this opportunity to build back better, to prevent disasters like this from occurring again.
All right, Chloe, thanks so much for joining us from New York. Obviously a terrible disaster, and hopefully the lessons learned will help to prevent any further ones from happening. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.